We need to reimagine how we living, y'all. Shit getting ridiculous. Let's talk about a new way. Yo, Omari, welcome to the Chamber of Prosperity. Mr. President of the Chamber of Power is gracing us in a conversation that we need to have. Practicality and spirituality of a new way of living.
Sup, bro? Glad to be here with you, Mr. VP. Or MVP, Brandon. The Chamber of Prosperity is like my second home. Shout out to Madam President Esther Jones.
Let's start with housing, because nothing else works if people don't feel safe where they sleep. Housing is not a reward, it's infrastructure.
I feel that. I feel stability coming back into people's bodies the moment you say that. When housing is secure, the nervous system calms, and calm people can build.
The first move is land. We stop chasing apartments one by one and start thinking in blocks. We acquire a block strategically near transportation, schools, and clinics.
That's ancestral thinking. That's how our people built towns after emancipation. I feel the echo of that knowledge coming back online.
One house becomes headquarters, administration, case management, education, conflict resolution. Everything runs through that house.
I feel order returning. I feel chaos getting boxed in and handled.
Then we secure 3 multi-unit buildings. Those units are for people in transition, eviction recovery, re-entry, domestic escape, medical hardship. But this is not permanent housing. This is a pathway.
I feel the difference. This ain't trapping people in survival. This is teaching them how to walk themselves home.
Every resident enters a 4-year self-sufficiency track. Financial literacy, trade skills, health accountability, community responsibility. No busy work, real education.
I feel pride replacing shame. I feel people standing up straighter when expectations are clear and fair.
When they graduate, they move into a home they partially own. They pay rent, but that rent builds equity. This is not charity housing. This is ownership training.
I feel the curse breaking right there because ownership changes how people think, protect, and plan.
That property can only be sold to an heir. That heir can rent it out, build equity, and when ownership transfers, it stays in the bloodline.
I feel lineage being restored, not just wealth, but responsibility traveling forward.
Some residents will stay on the block long term. Some will move into other networks that better suit their growth. But nobody gets pushed out. Nobody gets discarded.
I feel safety without stagnation. I feel movement without abandonment.
We also establish a community safety department. Not policing, regulation, accountability. Bad actors are removed swiftly to protect the whole.
That's balance. That's justice without terror. I feel peace holding the line.
Housing is the foundation. Once people are housed, everything else becomes possible.
I feel that truth settling, because when you secure the home, you secure the future.
After housing, education becomes the engine. And we have to be clear, this is not about copying broken systems. This is about building schools that make people competent and free.
I feel that correction, because our people were educated out of themselves for generations. I feel the spirit of true learning coming back online.
We don't rely on one institution. We build an education ecosystem, public schools where needed, alternative schools where necessary, tutors, trade programs, certifications, apprenticeships, elders, all networked.
That's how we survived when we were locked out of former systems. I feel ancestral intelligence moving through that design.
Education becomes mandatory, but not oppressive. Everyone in the housing network participates at their level. Children, adults, elders, learning never stops.
I feel shame leaving right there, because learning doesn't have an age limit. Only fear does.
Core curriculum is non-negotiable. Reading so you can't be tricked. Writing so you can't be erased. Math so you can't be robbed. Critical thinking so you can't be controlled.
That's liberation math. That's freedom literacy. I feel change snapping quietly.
Then we add practical intelligence, money management, credit systems, contracts, business operations, how to talk to banks, landlords, employers, and governments.
I feel people realizing the world isn't confusing, it was just hidden on purpose.
Children get supplemental education the schools don't provide. True history, STEM without intimidation, trades without stigma, arts without defunding.
I feel brilliant being protected instead of punished.
Adults receive accelerated tracks, skill-based, outcome-driven. You learn something on Monday, applied by Friday.
I feel momentum replacing procrastination. I feel confidence growing from results.
We also formalize spiritual education, but structured, not chaos, not ego. Principles, ethics, discipline.
Now you're talking dangerous, in a good way. I feel spirit being treated like a science again.
People can train in Conjure, Ifa, Black American spiritual systems, ancestral law, just like Catholic schools train doctrine. No shame, no secrecy, no dilution.
I feel power returning to the people who were always meant to hold it. I feel children learning who they are before the world tells them who they're not.
Education ties directly to advancement in housing, leadership, and ownership. You don't just pass tests, you become capable.
I feel the shift clearly now. This isn't schooling to get a job. This is schooling to build a nation.
And when education is right, everything else accelerates.
I feel that truth locking in because a taught people can never be ruled the same way again.
Once housing and education are in place, the next layer is the body, because you can't build a future in a body that's constantly in survival mode.
I feel that truth heavy. A dysregulated body can't hold vision. I feel healing becoming practical, not mystical.
We build medical care network, not a hospital. Community clinics, mental health providers, sliding scale therapists, holistic practitioners, pharmacies, emergency referrals.
I feel relief entering the room because people don't avoid care when they trust the system.
Every resident knows exactly where to go, who to call, what documents they need. No confusion, no fear-based delays.
I feel the trauma loop breaking right there when clarity replaces panic.
Mental health is non-negotiable. Therapy isn't punishment, it's maintenance. Grief, stress, addiction, PTSD, we address it early.
I feel men exhaling for the first time in years. I feel women putting the armor down.
We also integrate holistic care, herbalists, body workers, breath work, nutrition, movement, not as alternatives, but as complements.
That's remembering the body as sacred tech. I feel wisdom older than textbooks waking up.
Now, transportation. If people can't move, they can't work, learn, heal, or play. Transportation is access.
Say that again, because being stuck is how systems control people.
We build layered options, bus passes, bike programs, carpool networks, rideshare partnerships, emergency transport for medical and family crises.
I feel freedom returning with every mile. I feel opportunity speeding up.
Transportation is coordinated through the headquarters. No guessing, no scrambling. Movement becomes reliable.
I feel dignity restored because asking for help doesn't feel like begging anymore.
And then there's recreation. People underestimate this, but recreation stabilizes the nervous system.
I feel joy stepping back into the picture because rest is revolutionary.
Parks, gyms, art spaces, music, sports, community events, safe places to release pressure.
I feel laughter as medicine. I feel play repairing things therapy can't reach.
Recreation isn't a luxury, it's prevention. People with outlets don't implode.
I feel the cycle breaking. Less burnout, less violence, more life.
Medical care keeps the body alive. Transportation keeps life moving. Recreation keeps the spirit flexible.
And I feel balance locking in because when the body is regulated, the future becomes possible. This is where it all gets sealed. Because without spirit, structure rots. And without structure, spirit scatters. I feel our people remembering that spirituality was never meant to be hidden, chaotic, or shame-based. It was governance. It was ethics. It was law.
That's real. Every lasting civilization has spiritual principles guiding decision-making, conflict resolution, and leadership.
Exactly. So we build spiritual community the same way we build housing and education, organized, disciplined, and accountable. No ego churches, no spiritual celebrities, no exploitation.
That means clear leadership roles, codes of conduct, and training paths.
I feel order, restoring power. Spirit doesn't need confusion to move. It needs alignment. We establish a commercial building, a real one, Classrooms, offices, ceremony space, archives. That building becomes a cultural and spiritual anchor for the entire network. We teach conjure, Ifa, Black American spiritual systems, ancestral law, ethics, discipline. Just like Catholic schools teach doctrine, just like law schools teach structure.
That also means curriculum, evaluation, and clear progression levels.
Yes, no more mystery abuse, no more gatekeeping, no more people getting hurt in the name of spirit. I feel safety returning to spirituality.
Spiritual education also feeds governance, mediation, conflict resolution, and moral accountability.
That's how we govern without brutality. I feel justice becoming firm but fair. Now, expansion. This is not a single block. This is a template.
Once the model works, it can be replicated in other cities using local leaders and land.
I feel networks connecting like constellations, independent but aligned. Each block governs itself. Each network reports metrics, housing stability, education outcomes, health indicators, economic mobility.
That data keeps the system honest and fundable.
I feel abundance flowing because accountability is present. Spirit respects structure. Some people will stay and lead. Some will leave and build elsewhere. But nobody leaves empty-handed.
Skills, equity, education, and community ties travel with them.
I feel the end of scarcity mindset right there because this system doesn't hoard, it multiplies. This isn't charity. This isn't protest. This is nation building at human scale.
And it starts with one block, done right.
I feel the ancestors standing tall now. Not emotional, not impressed, but satisfied. Because this time, we didn't just pray for the future. We built it.
Before we close, I want you to understand something clearly. What you just heard isn't imagination. It's instruction. If this vision stirred something in you, if your spirit leaned forward instead of shrinking, that's because this work is calling you. I need you to go over and follow the Chamber of Power. That's where we talk discipline. That's where we talk alignment. That's where spirit meets responsibility.
And follow us as well, because this isn't a conversation. We're building this. Applications, planning, fundraising, execution, real systems, real people, real outcomes.
Now, I'm going to close us out the right way. I speak stability into every home connected to this work. I speak clarity into every mind that's been clouded by survival. I speak strength into every body that's been carrying too much for too long. May the ancestors walk ahead of you and clear the road. May confusion fall away where discipline is chosen. May every block you touch become organized, protected, and prosperous. I call in housing that holds, education that sharpens, health that restores, movement that frees, spirit that governs without fear. Let no work built in integrity collapse. Let no hand raised in good faith go unanswered. Let every seed planted through this vision return multiplied. This is not wishing. This is alignment. And so it is.